What's going on, guys? It's Elias. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be going over the newly released 2022 Honda Civic Hatchback. Now, first and foremost, I want to address the fact that I've been taking a little break from YouTube for the last couple of months, and that's mainly due to the fact that I'm kind of reconfiguring my life around to be able to do a lot more YouTube, a lot more car video stuff, and a lot more farmer type videos on my other channel. So I've been having to take some time off and reconfigure all of that. In the meantime, this hatchback was released, and I definitely did not want to miss the opportunity to share my thoughts with you guys. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys, as a Honda enthusiast, a car enthusiast, and a previous owner of a Honda Civic hatchback, and current owner of the Civic Type R, the FK8. I'm going to share with you my thoughts, what I think about it, and what the future may hold for this hatchback. So let's go ahead and go through the details. So as you can see, Honda is giving us, once again, 4 different models to pick from for the hatchback. Now, one of the biggest differences from the previous generation, the 10th gen, and the current gen, is that there's actually 2 engine choices. So the LX and the Sport end up with a naturally aspirated 160 horsepower K20 engine. It's an excellent engine, and the LX is only available with the CVT. The Sport, you can get the 6-speed manual. You move up on the range, you get the EXL and the Sport Touring. Those both come with the 1.5T that we're all familiar with. Now, both of these engines are carryovers from the 10th gen, so we all know what they have to offer. They're basically identical. They're great engines for what they are. Obviously, as an enthusiast, I'm going to be way more interested in the Sport and the Sport Touring, as those are the only 2 available with a manual transmission. Yes, Honda's still offering a manual in these non-SI and non-Type R variants. I love that they do that. And one small thing to point out here, the Sport and the Sport Touring get 18-inch wheels, pretty large wheels, and the 2-liter engine has a 3.9 final drive versus a 1.5T engine has a 3.2 final drive. That's interesting because a larger final drive usually means shorter gearing, which is better for acceleration. A possible future upgrade is to take the 3.9 final drive and put it in the Sport Touring to make the 1.5T faster. Let's talk about the exterior styling a little bit, because I'm a huge fan of the 10th gen Civic, as you guys know, and the 11th gen is just an evolution. Like I've told you guys in the past, this whole 11th gen Civic is just an evolution of the 10th gen. It is not a huge departure, unlike the 9th to 10th gen evolution. That was a huge change. This is a very small change. So in the front, you see it's more subdued, it's more premium looking, it's going to be a lot softer to look at, and they really are trying to go more upscale to compete with Mazda 3, for example. Mazda 3 is also going more upscale. They kind of have a Audi-esque look here in the hatch, especially. They have a kind of like a sportback look. I kind of miss the old hatchbacks, like the EGs and the EKs with the pronounced hatchback, but I don't think those are ever coming back. And everything looks much better than before if you like more subdued styling. In my opinion, I actually prefer the 10th gen styling, but again, that's just my perspective. I like the more aggressive stance. This is a much more quote-unquote grown-up stance than the previous gen. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you prefer the 10th gen looks or the 11th gen's more grown-up looks? A lot of people are calling this the new Cross Tour type car, and I don't know if you guys remember, but when the Cross Tour came out, the Accord Cross Tour, it was very much agreed that it was a very ugly car. I see it on the road here and there. It's not as ugly as it used to be. I guess it grew on me, and maybe this design will also grow on me. We shall see. One huge thing I hate is that the exhaust tips are fake on this car. They have fake exhaust tips. I wonder what the aftermarket is going to have to do to improve that. We'll see. Now let's concentrate on the interior, since for this 11th gen Civic, Honda put a lot of thought and effort into how the interior looks and how the improvements were made. One of the things that people did not like about the 10th gen, and rightfully so, was the interior was very cheap looking and feeling. Well, they've done a lot to try to mitigate that. And while we still have a huge hatchback, it's a smaller size hatchback. The infotainment and the dashboard has really improved. It's all digital. It's actually a lot more premium feeling, a lot more upscale, at least is the right word, than it used to be. And it's going to make a huge difference as soon as you step into this car, that even if you get the Sport or the LX, you're going to see huge improvements. So they've returned to, of course, the touch buttons. As you remember, the 10th gen came out without a volume knob. Well, the volume knob is back. I love that it's back. Thank God it's back. And it's here to stay. And as you can see, there's a lot of buttons here on the dash, and I think that's a huge positive. In fact, one of the best reasons to upgrade from 10th gen to 11th gen is if you hate your 10th gen interior, you're going to, I think, love the 11th gen interior. That is for sure. It is a huge improvement. Now, finishing up on the interior details and the rest of the details of this car, it's pretty obvious that Honda is trying to get you to buy the Sport Touring. I think it is the absolute best trim to have. You get the 6-speed manual available, you get the 1.5T, you get the bigger wheels, and you have a huge amount of technology added into it. In fact, it's the only model available with the larger screen, infotainment screen, as well as the driver information interface screen. So it also has this cool technology called low speed braking control. No one's spoken about that yet. And the way that works is if you're going under 6 miles an hour and the car senses an obstacle in your way, like a mailbox or a person, God forbid, it actually brakes for you. That's new technology I have not seen from any other manufacturer yet, especially at this price point. So I think it's pretty cool what Honda is offering. I believe the prices are going to be under $30,000. You probably get the Sport Touring for around $28,000 when it comes out, and it'll probably start around $23,000, $24,000. So those are my thoughts on the specs of the hatchback. Now, what is the future of the hatchback? Is it going to be all-wheel drive available? Will there be a Type R? All that good stuff. Well, let's go ahead and talk about that. A big problem manufacturers are dealing with right now is that nobody's really buying sedans or hatchbacks. Everyone wants to buy SUVs. So in order to attract more buyers, they're having to put more and more technology, and they're having to go more and more up markets, like the Mazda 3. The Honda Civic Hatchback is doing the same exact thing. So they've gone for a more upscale look. And the future, unfortunately, probably does not hold any more real mechanical differences from this. What you're likely to see is even more and more technology infused into the hatchback, maybe some autonomous driving technology. I know for a fact the hybrid is going to be coming out soon for the Civic hatchback, and the Civic sedan likely will also get a hybrid. Now, as for the Type R, there's a lot of rumors flying around. I'm going to be doing a separate video on that, but for the most part, it's going to be an evolution, a slight evolution of what the 10th gen was. The 10th gen FK8, the one that I currently own, is such a good car. They'd be crazy to really mess with it, and they're not. So it's been such a great seller that they're not going to mess with it. It's going to be very similar to what the previous gen has, which means it's going to be the same engine, same manual transmission, similar horsepower. They may, it may be 320, 330 horsepower just to kind of enhance it a little bit. There will not be all-wheel drive. Now for the Civic Type R, there may be an Acura variant of the Civic Type R that I hope comes out with a 10-speed automatic. That would be super awesome. They already have the 10-speed automatic in the TLX Type S. They have a 10-speed automatic in the Accord 2.0T. So it's been already mated to the engine, the same K20C engine, the turbocharged engine that comes in the Type R, just slightly detuned in the Accord Touring. So we know that the transmission works for that engine. It'd be lovely to see an Acura version with all-wheel drive, a 10-speed automatic, slightly better interior, in a hatch form, please. That would be awesome. Acura, if you're listening. And a lot of enthusiasts would probably love to get that. Now, in terms of engine choices, as I've said before, the engines are basically the same exact engines as the previous generation. This is how Honda does it. They put a lot of effort and engineering into a new engine, a new platform, and then they continuously develop it for a generation or two. So maybe the 12th gen Civic could be all electric. We don't know that. But for now, we have an evolution of what the 10th gen Civic had, which is the 1.5T and the 2-liter NA engine. I think both engines are great. We know what they're capable of. We know the 1.5T has a huge amount of tuning potential. The last couple of things to talk about is whether or not the SI is going to come in hatchback form. I have my doubts, although I am hoping that it does. I would love a hatchback form in an SI. I mean, that would be an awesome addition to the lineup. I doubt they'll do it because, as we know, the Type R is coming, and the Type R will be in the hatchback form. So Honda, if you're listening, make Acura do some awesome things with this platform. I think a 10-speed automatic. I know a lot of enthusiasts are probably going to kill me for this, but I would love to see one, a 10-speed automatic. And, it'll be fun to see what this car can do. So let me know in the comments if you guys, what you guys think of the new 11th gen Civic. The 10th gen Civic was absolutely awesome when it came out. I bought one. I've been driving it for a while. I love it. I love my Type R, and I think they can only improve on it and make it better. That'll be awesome to see. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.